Hey there, beautiful, chaotic minds. Ever felt like the world is running on one operating system and you're over here running an experimental beta version that crashes at the worst times? Yeah, same. You might have been called quirky, weird, or my personal favourite, a lot. But what if I told you, maybe you're not just different, maybe you're neurodivergent? Today, we're diving into 10 signs you might be neurodivergent and not even know it. So buckle up, grab some dopamine, aka snacks, and let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Ever sat down to do something important and suddenly found yourself deep diving into conspiracy theories about pigeons being government drones? Or maybe you start one task, remember another, and somehow you're reorganizing your entire life at 2 a.m. If your brain feels like it's powered by 50 open browser tabs, with 0 of them playing the music, congrats, this could be your neurodivergence showing. For ADHD brains, this is called task-switching chaos. You might start responding to an email, but end up cleaning your entire kitchen instead. For autistic folks, it's deep hyperfocus on specific interests, where you can lose yourself in research for hours, but forget to eat. Either way, welcome to the club, my friend. Neurodivergent brains often work in bursts. One moment, you're doing 10 things at once, and the next, you forget what you were even doing in the first place. Your to-do list? More like a never gonna do list. You love people. Kinda. You enjoy deep conversations, but small talk makes your soul slowly disintegrate. If being around people drains your energy like a faulty iPhone battery, you might be autistic, introverted, or just selectively social. Neurodivergent individuals often struggle with social burnout because keeping up with conversations, reading between the lines, and masking neurodivergent traits can be exhausting. So, if your idea of a good weekend involves avoiding human interaction and vibing in your own little world, you're not alone. Some people might call you antisocial, but in reality, you love socializing, just on your own terms. It's not that you don't enjoy people, it's just that maintaining interactions can feel like running a marathon in flip-flops. Hate bright lights? Can't stand the feeling of certain fabrics? Ever hear a noise and suddenly want to file a noise complaint to the universe? Sensory overload is a big red flag for autism, ADHD, and sensory processing disorder. For some, it's the inability to tolerate loud, chaotic environments without feeling physically overwhelmed. For others, it's needing specific textures in clothing or avoiding certain foods because of how they feel in their mouth. If you relate to any of this, your sensory system might just be running on expert mode. You might even seek out certain sensory experiences, like listening to the same song on repeat, touching certain textures, or needing fidget toys to focus. The world might call it picky or dramatic, but for you, it's about survival. Either you have 0 routine and your life is pure chaos, or you have a rigid routine, and any change makes your brain short-circuit. Some neurodivergent folks thrive on predictability, having a set morning routine, eating the same foods, or using checklists to function. Others struggle with maintaining habits because their brain rebels against structure, leading to executive dysfunction. If one small unexpected change throws your entire day off balance, you might be seeing neurodivergence at work. If someone cancels plans last minute, does that relieve you or ruin your entire day? If it's the latter, your brain might be hardwired for routine more than you think. Ever get told, you interrupt too much, or that was a weird thing to say? Or maybe you go full info dump mode about an obscure topic, while the other person slowly zones out. For ADHD folks, interrupting isn't rudeness. It's excitement and impulsivity in action. For autistic individuals, missing social cues or struggling with back and forth conversations can make interactions feel scripted and unnatural. If you've ever replayed a conversation in your head for days, analysing what went wrong, you're not alone. You might also overanalyze texts and responses, wondering why someone took 30 minutes to reply with just LOL. Welcome to the struggle. Ever gotten so obsessed with something that you learn everything about it in 2 days? Like, one day, you're casually into a TV show, and next thing you know, you've read the lore, fan theories, and the actor's entire Wikipedia history. That's hyperfixation, baby. Hyperfixation is a common trait in ADHD, autism, and obsessive, interest-driven brains. It's like a temporary but all-consuming passion that takes over your brain. While this can be incredibly productive, it can also lead to neglecting other responsibilities, like eating, sleeping, or remembering to drink water. And when you finally move on to another interest, that previous obsession might as well have never existed. Have you ever found out that something you've done your whole life is apparently not universal? Like, apparently, most people don't rehearse conversations in their head like a Hollywood script, or relive embarrassing moments from 10 years ago daily. If you frequently hear wait, you do what? From friends or family, your brain might just be running a different software. You might even mimic other people's behaviors without realizing it, just to fit in. Turns out, that's not something everyone does. You don't just think, you overthink. Life, the universe, your existence, whether cats know they're cats. Your brain is a 24/7 philosophy class. Existential spirals, you have them. Neurodivergent people tend to have deeper, abstract, and obsessive thinking patterns. Whether it's analysing every decision you've ever made, or questioning reality at 3 a.m, the existential crises just keep coming. You feel things too much or not at all. You either cry over dog videos, rage quit over minor inconveniences, or emotionally shut down like Windows XP. Emotional dysregulation is common in ADHD and autism, and while some learn to mask it, inside, you might be screaming at that one person who types K instead of OK. You're either hyper-emotional or numb, and sometimes both in the same day. Masking is the constant effort to act normal or suppress traits that might stand out. It's exhausting, but it can also become second nature. So much so that many don't even realize they're doing it until burnout hits. If you feel like you have different versions of yourself for different situations, you're not alone.